Hello, everybody, and welcome into another Canadiens News and Rumours video here at the Hockey Writers. I'm your host, Matthew Zator, and as always, we're joined by Ryan Szporer here. Ryan, how's it going?
Good, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing great. The hockey season is, what are we, a few weeks old? We're almost a month in, actually, into the season. And a lot of the teams have played around 10 games. And the Canadiens are off to a great start to their season. A lot of players doing really well. The team itself is doing really well early on. And, of course, all the young guys are excelling as well. So, but they have been dealing with some injuries. Biggest one so far, and we'll start here, is Patrik Laine. Of course, not a young player, but he's out for 3 to 4 months. And there's been a lot of things about how much of an impact he will make without being in the lineup, or if it's good that he's out of the lineup. There's different schools of thought there. What do you think about Patrik Laine being out? Is it going to make a big impact, him being out, or is it good that he's out of the lineup?
I wouldn't say it's good, for the simple reason that he led the Canadiens in power play scoring, goals anyway, last season, despite only playing 52 games, I believe. So anytime you take out an offensive weapon like that, I feel like you're putting yourself at a disadvantage, or circumstances are putting you at a disadvantage. I can understand the argument that it opens up a roster spot for someone who is more likely to contribute at 5-on-5. I do. And at the end of the day, in my opinion, the Canadiens had resigned themselves to playing Laine as a fourth line forward and getting time on the power play. So from that perspective, in my personal opinion, I'm of the belief that the Canadiens are down a potential, taking into account his reduced role, 15-goal man. And, even if he's playing fourth line minutes, I feel like they're a weaker team without Laine in the lineup than with him in. But I because of that reduced role, I definitely believe this is a loss they can navigate with some success.
For sure. And I mean, a lot of his goals last season were on the power play. Didn't contribute a lot 5-on-5. So, I mean, it does kind of change things. I mean, there are people I've read articles about that Laine being out of the lineup because he doesn't play that type of style that the Canadiens usually play with, the speed and all that, that him being out they can play to their identity a bit more. What are your thoughts on that?
I can, all due respect to those people who have those opinions, I consider those opinions BS.
Right.
For the simple reason that they would not have made the playoffs without Patrik Laine in the lineup. And that's true of a few other players too, don't get me wrong. But the Canadiens only started their upward trajectory in the standings once Patrik Laine joined the team, debuted on December 3rd, 2024. If they don't get his 15 power play goals and I believe 20 total, they don't make the playoffs. They made the playoffs in game 82. And it's just that simple. Like, he was, even though he had a reduced role, he was nevertheless an impact player. He had a positive impact on the team. And the Canadiens were playing their best hockey with him in the lineup. So any suggestion that he was a drag on the team, that he's a cancer in the locker room, it's without merit.
For sure. I mean, he did really contribute to the team's offense for sure. So, I mean, it's going to be a loss him being out of the lineup. But the final thing on him is, what's his future now? I mean, 3 to 4 months is quite a long time. I mean, he will look like he will return before the end of the season. But that could put it down. I mean, he's an unrestricted free agent going into the offseason. Do you think that kind of reduces the likelihood that he comes back after this season?
I think, let me put it this way. I think heading into this season, it was going to be his last with the Canadiens, even had he stayed healthy. I just feel like there are so many players coming up the ranks that, based on his reduced role, which is an admitted fact, I can't deny, there wouldn't have been room for him moving forward. Now, the injury situation adds a certain layer of complexity to that situation. I still don't believe that the Canadiens will resign him, but it's gotten to the point where Laine won't be able to ask for as much money as he once did because he's definitely in prove me contract territory. So it becomes interesting because he could most definitely be fit under the salary cap if the Canadiens choose to bring him back. But ultimately, I don't think they will.
Yeah, we'll see how that all goes. The injury does kind of complicate things a bit, so we'll see how that what happens with Laine down the line. All right, let's go to Ivan Demidov, who, of course, everyone was kind of assuming he was going to be in the Calder Trophy kind of discussion. He hasn't pulled himself away from that. He's kind of leading it, I think. Really having a great last couple weeks, or actually last week or so. Against the Canucks, had his first 3-point night. Looked really good in that game. Of course, I cover the Canucks, so I watched that game and then saw him there. So what do you think about Demidov's early season success here?
I don't think anyone should be surprised. I'm sure a few New York Islanders fans who were suggesting Matthew Schaefer was gonna run away with the Calder Memorial Trophy a few games in are maybe feeling a bit less certain of themselves right now. But yeah, this was always projected. Now, I wouldn't have been shocked had he been, snake bitten to a certain extent or anything, but his skill is undeniable. And heading in, he was obviously a front runner for the trophy. So as far as I'm concerned, his 9 points in 10 games, with 3 coming in his last contest against Vancouver Canucks, is along the lines of what everyone should have been expecting. Yeah, he's been very impressive, at least from an offensive perspective, but he's living up to the hype. Credit to him.
For sure, and he really looked good on the power play in that first unit. And I mean, Laine, I don't know, he was kind of bouncing between the first and second units this season. So it's not like Demidov took his spot, but yeah, he's looked really good on that first power play unit for sure. All right, let's move to the goaltending, which has had a lot of discussion about Dobes, and Dobes has much better numbers than Montembeault right now. Do you see that Dobes could potentially take over the starting role, or is it still Montembeault's at this point?
I feel like, I feel like it's possible that Dobes takes over Montembeault. I'm not going to close the book on that. And I won't say that Montembeault is the number one goalie at this point. I think it's become clear that if anything, they're going with the platoon situation, 1A, 1B. If I'm head coach Martin Saint-Louis, I'm just not closing the book altogether on Montembeault rediscovering his form based on his last season, especially. I believe he can be a number one goalie in this league, albeit an average one. And that's a testament to Montembeault himself, because when he was first acquired off the waiver wire by the Montreal Canadiens to start the 21-22 season, he was effectively a third-string goalie. I know I saw only a third-string potential AHL goalie, and he improved and improved and improved to the point where he became a legitimate NHL goalie and then a number one goalie. And I was wrong. So I can't really say with any kind of certainty that Montembeault is done. And I don't think he should be if the Canadiens have anything to say about it. I feel like he's earned the benefit of the doubt, and it's only been a few bad starts. We're literally only 10 games into an 82-game season. So this would be true of Dobes as well. He's going to suffer through some he's going to struggle a bit as well. There's no doubt about it. So I feel like, I look at it as this is just Montembeault's time to struggle. It could have come 2 months in. It could have come 3 months in. He's getting it out of his system now. And there's every reason to believe that he'll bounce back and improve his numbers.
For sure, and it's good that Dobes is performing, or they would be really in trouble with the goaltending. So at least one of them is playing well, and that's a good thing. And we'll see. I mean, it'd probably be good to be a 1A, 1B. I think we talked about that in the season preview too, that it could potentially be that type of thing. And I mean, Dobes is playing really well, and that's a good sign from just continuing his success from last season as well. All right, shifting from the crease to the defense and injuries again. Caden Guhle has been out for a bit here. I know you wrote an article about this. How has he impacted, or his absence impacted, the defense here?
I just feel like, based on what I've seen, the Canadiens are just before he was injured. The Canadiens were dictating the tempo of play to a far greater extent than they are without him. They had been rolling with a Guhle and Hudson second pairing, which was very successful. And once Guhle got injured, they promoted Jaden Struble to that pairing. And there was definite reason behind that, or logical explanation behind that, seeing as under similar circumstances last year, they had paired Hudson with Struble following a separate Guhle injury down the stretch, and they performed very, very well. Unfortunately, it's not the case right now. And with the exception to, ironically, as far as I can tell, their 6-5 loss to the Edmonton Oilers a few games ago, when they probably deserved a better fate, but we won't get into that. Since the Guhle injury, they've been struggling from a possession metric standpoint.
Sure. I mean, he's always been a really big part of that top four. So, I mean, it's something that's going to impact some. It doesn't matter. So, I mean, I think and he's not out for a long time. It's so he'll be back. What is it now? And it was a 3 to 4 week timeline. So, I mean, he'll be back soon, and that's good. It's not a Laine type injury, which is good.
For sure.
All right. Last thing we got to talk about is, I mean, this rumors have kind of gone, and there's a lot of teams involved in this, and that's Nazem Kadri from the Calgary Flames. And all know the Flames are struggling, so they're going to start. There's going to be a lot of these rumors with a lot of their players that could potentially be moved. Do you see the Canadiens being one of those teams that could be involved in potentially acquiring Nazem Kadri?
No, because I don't believe he used to be a client of Kent Hughes. That's a joke. I mean, anything's possible. I'm not gonna say no, because Kadri could definitely be a useful number 2 center on this team, and he does bring with him what some may refer to as sandpaper. Maple Leafs fans may refer to it as a liability in the playoffs. But in my personal opinion, I don't think Hughes will go that route, because they have to. While I don't believe he's going to be a solution down at center on the second line, the Canadiens probably are satisfied with the performance they're getting out of Oliver Kapanen in that role currently. He's entered as unlikely as he is to win, he's entered the Calder Memorial Trophy conversation. I believe he has 4 goals so far this season, which is fairly impressive, seeing as last year he wasn't able to score any during his limited time with the Canadiens. So he's having a positive impression on generally everyone. There are undeniable flaws in his game, but I have to believe that the Canadiens, as the youngest team in the NHL currently, are not necessarily looking for, I believe Kadri is 34, so let's say a 34-year-old short to medium term option, and if the Canadiens are going to give up assets towards acquiring a number 2 center, I don't think it's going to be a short-term fix, unless we're talking like Sidney Crosby, which is a whole other story.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I believe that the Canadiens would have been interested in like a Dylan Cousins, whom the Senators obviously acquired from the Buffalo Sabres last year. That's someone that Hughes probably would have been interested in, as a player of that, contractual profile. Kadri doesn't fit that profile. Now, never say never, but I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, and of course, there's going to be a lot of teams involved in this type of trade if the Flames do actually put him on the trade block. There's not really been official that they are shopping him. So, I mean, there is going to be a lot of teams involved, whoever needs that second line center for sure. So we'll see what comes of that as the season goes on. All right. Well, lots of stuff. Canadiens doing really well. They're 7-3 as we're recording this, first in the Atlantic Division. So, I mean, it's not necessarily they need a lot. They're doing pretty well with the roster they have right now. So, we'll see how everything goes in the next weeks as the season goes on. But thanks, Ryan, for coming on, talking to Montreal Canadiens as always. Make sure to check out everything at thehockeywriters.com. We've got great articles throughout the site on Canadiens and all the other teams. And of course, all of our other videos at the YouTube channel and our Substack newsletters. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. And until our next video, we will see you next time.